Hello, welcome to Screencast 1, Part 2. This has got a focus on the multi-agency approach that I mentioned earlier. I want us to look at the early help intervention. So, early help is an intervention involving a multi-agency approach to supporting the child by supporting the family. So often families are struggling, they're struggling to provide what the children need, and so the head teacher will make a referral for the early help intervention. This involves a meeting, often in school, overseen by the inclusion manager. It will include the parents, carers, and specialists from different agencies will be invited. Okay, so it might be a family support worker, it might be a community worker to support mental health, it could be somebody from Citizens Advice. Okay, so this is all about providing targeted early help, and the idea is that the early help, the support package that's written, will prevent any safeguarding issues escalating to significant risk and needing further sort of intervention, because often this will involve removing the child from the home. So it's all about prevention. So it's an intervention to prevent further problems arising. And what happens in the meeting is that a support plan is written to support the family and the child. The important aspect of this, the important thing to remember is that once the support plan has been written and put in place, then it has to be reviewed. So we keep coming back to it, okay, because things can change, situations can change and things can escalate. So the review process is really important, okay, when thinking about early help. Okay, so there is an assessment process involved in the early help. Okay, so this is a procedure that's written down that the early help team will follow, and as I said, it can involve education, health, housing. It's an interagency assessment that's carried out, evidence is collected and then brought to the meeting. Okay, so it does involve the children, okay, so their voice is heard and support is given. Communication needs to be clear for everybody. It involves the family. It's about identifying the risks to the safety and welfare of the children, but it's an integrated approach, it's a multi-agency approach, and it's a continuing process, not an event. So the idea is that after the assessment, the meeting is held and then the support plan is put in place. So it's about action, it's about supporting the family. So there is an assessment framework. You can find this in Statutory, okay, and you can see here we've got the child's developmental needs. That might be health, education, emotional well-being. It might be about relationships. Okay, it might be about their self-care skills. And then you've got the parenting capacity. So usually the developmental needs are the things that we notice. We notice that the child's health and well-being is, is a concern. We notice perhaps that they're looking a bit neglected, or their relationships with other children are deteriorating or changing. And then what happens is the assessment framework takes into consideration the parenting capacity, their capacity to care at that moment in time. We have to understand that lots of different factors can prevent parents from providing the care that the children need. But it's not that they don't love their children, but they maybe just be struggling with their own situations. So the assessment framework looks at basic care, safety, emotional warmth, guidance and boundaries, and stability. And the parents ability to provide those things. And then it considers the family and environmental factors. So you can see family history, wider family, housing concerns, maybe it's an employment difficulty. So, one of the parents may have lost their job, they may not be able to keep up with the rent, which, there's a housing difficulty, it can be income, family social integration, it can be community resources. So the idea is that the team look at these different factors, but all the time they come back to the child. The child's at the centre of this assessment framework. Okay, so the impact all of this is having on them. Okay, so the referral process is in page 17 of the statutory guidance. Let's just have a look at that together. Okay, so this is page 17 in the statutory guidance, Keeping Children Safe, and this diagram outlines the referral process. So you can see staff have concerns about a child and take immediate action. They follow the child protection policy and they speak to the designated safeguard lead. So staff in school have observed or noticed changes that they're concerned about. They tell the safeguard lead, and then the safeguard lead looks at the evidence and has to decide what is the best action, so which way they're going to take the referral. So you can see referral not required, relevant action possibly including pastoral support or early help. So the designated lead may think that the best way forward for the child and the family is actually to suggest an early help intervention and to monitor it locally. Okay, and then once that's in place, as I said, it's monitored carefully. If things change and escalate, okay, you can see it moves across here. Okay, so then so the head teacher will then take the referral forward, and that might be to the police if it's appropriate, or social care. Okay, now it might be that when teachers or adults in school raise concern to the safeguard lead and they look at the evidence, they decide the best way forward is actually a referral straight to social care or police. Okay, so we can see as we move down the arrows that if that's the case, they have 1 working day. So the social worker has 1 working day to make a decision about the response that's required. So you can see the different responses. Child in immediate risk, needing protection. If that's the case, then appropriate emergency action, working with the police or NSPCC, that goes straight forward. It might be that actually they identify the child at risk, but feel that a child protection plan is the best way forward, okay, or maybe appropriate support, or again it might come back to pastoral support and an early help assessment. Okay, so staff should do everything they can to support social workers. So at all stages of referral, schools should work alongside to support social services. Okay, so you can see the different referral processes there. It tends to be, a lot of the time, it tends to be that the safeguard lead feels that an early help intervention and pastoral care is the way forward, and then monitor it and see what happens. And if it escalates, then take it forward to social care. But obviously if there's immediate risk, it goes straight to social services. The thing to mention here is the teacher's role in all of this is to just notice, raise concerns, and it's the designated safeguard lead that takes referral forward. Okay, so just to finish off this for this second part of the screencast, early help is a multi-agency approach, a pastoral approach to supporting the child by supporting the family. It's about identifying risk, carrying out an assessment, leading to action, and putting a support plan in place. And often that involves the class teacher who will deliver the educational side of things. But it is a multi-agency support meeting and plan that's put in place. So it's all about leading to action. And as I mentioned, the most important aspect is that this is monitored very closely and is reviewed. And if at any point things escalate and the child is deemed to be at significant risk, it goes back to designated lead, who refers straight to social services, or social services or police will step in. Okay, great.